So instead of revealing what they feel, they protect themselves behind a calm face, a reserved attitude, and controlled emotions. This is why you should never judge attraction only by warmth. Sometimes the signs are hidden beneath the surface. Sometimes what looks like indifference is actually interesting a disguise. One of the first signs is that she pays attention to you even when she acts like she does not. A woman who is truly uninterested usually invests very little mental energy into a man. She does not notice the small details. She does not remember random conversations. She does not pay attention to changes in his mood. But a woman who likes you often notices everything. She remembers something you mentioned weeks ago. She recalls a story you thought she had forgotten. She notices when your energy changes. She notices when you seem tired, distracted, excited, or confident. She may not openly express it, but she is watching. Not in an obsessive way, in an interested way. Attention is one of the clearest forms of attraction. People naturally focus on what matters to them. If she remembers details that most people would overlook, there is a good chance you occupy more space in her mind than she wants to admit. Another sign is that she responds differently to you than she does to other people. This is something many men miss. They look for obvious flirting when they should be looking for contrast. Pay attention to how she behaves around everyone else. Is she naturally expressive with friends but strangely reserved around you? Is she confident with others but suddenly more careful when speaking to you? Does she seem comfortable with everyone except the one person she secretly likes? Sometimes attraction creates nervousness. It creates self-awareness. It makes people think too much about every word they say. The result is that she may appear colder with you than with anyone else. The mistake many men make is assuming cold behavior always means dislike. Sometimes it means the exact opposite. Sometimes she becomes more guarded because your opinion matters more than she wants it to. Another sign is that she finds reasons to stay connected, even when she pretends she does not care. She may not text first every day. She may not chase you. She may not openly express her feelings. Yet somehow she remains present. She reacts to your updates. She checks your stories. She joins conversations where you are involved. She finds small reasons to engage. The connection never completely disappears. A snortswoman who truly feels nothing usually allows distance to grow naturally. She does not look for opportunities to maintain contact. But when a woman likes you, even if she is trying to hide it, she often struggles to completely let go of the connection. Another powerful sign is jealousy, though it rarely appears in obvious ways. Many women who act cold are very careful about revealing their emotions, so when jealousy appears, it often shows itself through subtle changes. Her mood shifts when another woman gets your attention. She becomes quieter. She asks unexpected questions. She suddenly seems more interested in details about your dating life. She may even act slightly distant afterward. The important thing is not the specific behavior. The important thing is the emotional reaction. Indifference has no emotional reaction. Attraction does. When someone truly does not care, your attention toward other people does not affect them. But when someone secretly likes you, even a small shift in your focus can create emotions they did not expect. Another sign is that she tests you. This is often misunderstood. A woman who likes you but does not fully trust her feelings may observe how you respond under pressure. She may challenge your confidence. She may disagree with you occasionally. She may pull back to see whether you become needy or desperate. This is not always intentional. Sometimes it happens naturally because she is trying to determine who you really are. People become curious about those they are emotionally invested in. They want to know what happens when the mask comes off. They want to know whether your confidence is real. They want to know whether your character remains strong when things are not easy. A woman who feels nothing has little reason to test anything. But a woman who sees potential often pays close attention to how you handle challenges. Another hidden sign is that she becomes unexpectedly available at certain moments. She may seem distant for days. Then suddenly she becomes engaged, attentive, and present. She asks questions. She keeps conversations going. She gives you more of her attention than usual. This inconsistency can be confusing, but often it happens because she is managing her emotions. One part of her wants to stay guarded, another part of her wants to connect. The result is a push and pull dynamic. She pulls away when she feels vulnerable, then she moves closer when her interest becomes too strong to ignore. One of the clearest signs is that she notices your absence. When a woman acts cold, many men assume she would not care if they disappeared. But pay attention. Does she eventually ask where you have been? Does she react when you become less available? Does she suddenly become more engaged after a period of silence? People notice the absence of things they value. If your presence makes no difference to her life, your absence usually will not either. But if she starts paying more attention when you step back, it often reveals that your presence mattered more than her behavior suggested. Another sign is that she opens up in small, unexpected ways. She may not share everything immediately. She may not wear her heart on her sleeve, but over time, pieces of her world begin to appear. She tells you something personal. She shares a fear. She reveals a goal. She talks about a difficult experience. These moments are important because emotional openness is a form of trust. People do not usually reveal vulnerable parts of themselves to those they do not care about. A woman who acts cold may still slowly invite you into her inner world, and that invitation often says more than any flirtatious comment ever could. There's also the way she looks at you when she thinks you are not paying attention. Human beings are often more honest with their eyes than with their words. She may act composed when speaking to you. She may appear indifferent. She may seem emotionally controlled. But there are moments when her guard drops for a second, a glance that lasts a little too long, a smile that appears unexpectedly, a look of curiosity, a look of admiration. These moments are difficult to fake because they happen naturally. They reveal what words often try to hide. Another sign is that she respects your boundaries. Many people focus only on attention when measuring attraction, but respect is equally important. A woman who genuinely likes you often values your time, your space, and your standards. She may challenge you occasionally, but she does not constantly try to manipulate you. She pays attention to how you carry yourself. She notices what you tolerate and what you do not. Respect is often a deeper indicator than excitement because it reflects genuine admiration rather than temporary emotion. And perhaps the biggest sign of all is that despite her cold exterior, she keeps finding reasons to remain in your orbit. Think about that carefully. Life naturally pulls people apart when there is no interest. Conversations fade, attention disappears, distance grows, connections dissolve. Yet somehow she remains there. Not always close, not always obvious, not always easy to understand, but still there, still paying attention, still responding, still noticing, still caring more than she lets on. The truth is that attraction is not always loud. It is not always dramatic. It does not always arrive wrapped in obvious signals and clear confessions. Sometimes it hides behind pride. Sometimes it hides behind fear. Sometimes it hides behind uncertainty, and that is why maturity is important. A strong man does not become obsessed with decoding every behavior. He does not chase validation. He does not force outcomes. He simply observes. He pays attention to patterns instead of isolated moments because one cold response means nothing. One delayed message means nothing. One distant day means nothing. Pause tell the real story. If her actions consistently reveal attention, curiosity, emotional investment, and a desire to stay connected, then her cold behavior may not be rejection at all. It may simply be the armor she wears while trying to protect feelings she is not yet ready to reveal. And often the woman who appears the most guarded is the one fighting the hardest battle between what she feels and what she is willing to show. And when you begin to understand this, something changes in the way you view relationships. You stop chasing every smile and fearing every moment of distance. You stop assuming that attraction must always look the way movies and social media tell you it should look. You begin to understand that human beings are layered. What people feel and what people show are often two very different things. A woman who acts cold may be protecting herself from disappointment. She may have trusted the wrong person before. She may have given her heart too quickly in the past and paid a heavy price for it. Because of that, she learned to control what she reveals. She learned to keep her emotions hidden until she feels safe. So, while another woman may openly show her interest from the beginning, this woman chooses caution. That caution can sometimes look like indifference, but if you pay attention, you will notice that her actions continue telling a different story. You will notice that she listens carefully when you speak. Even when she does not have much to say herself, she absorbs information about you. She learns your habits. She remembers your opinions. She remembers the things that matter to you. Most people forget what is unimportant to them. That is why memory is often connected to attraction. When someone consistently remembers details about your life, it usually means they have mentally revisited those conversations long after they ended, and that is not something people do for everyone. Another thing you may notice is that she becomes unexpectedly supportive during difficult moments. When everything is going well, it can be hard to tell who truly cares. But when challenges appear, people's priorities become visible. A woman who secretly likes you may suddenly show concern when you are struggling. She may check on you. She may ask questions. She may offer encouragement in subtle ways. The interesting part is that she often does this without making a big show of it. She may never say, "I care about you." She may never openly reveal her emotions, but her presence during difficult moments speaks louder than words. Because concern requires emotional investment, people rarely worry about those who mean nothing to them. Another sign is that she becomes curious about your future. She asks questions that go beyond the surface. She wants to know what you plan to do. She wants to know what drives you. She wants to know where your life is heading. At first glance, these may seem like ordinary conversations, but there is a deeper reason behind them. When someone imagines you as part of their emotional world, they naturally become interested in where your path is leading. They want to understand who you are becoming. They want to understand your ambitions, your values, and your direction. Curiosity about your future often reveals interest in your presence. And then there are the moments when she notices things that nobody else notices. Maybe she notices when your energy is lower than usual. Maybe she notices when something seems to be bothering you. Maybe she notices a subtle change in your behavior before anyone else does. This level of awareness is difficult to fake. People notice what they focus on, and they focus on what matters to them. A woman who is emotionally invested often becomes highly observant without even realizing it. She pays attention because her mind naturally returns to you, not because she is trying to analyze every move, but because your presence has become significant in her world. You may also notice that she reacts differently when you receive attention from other women. Again, this does not always look dramatic. It may be a brief shift in her mood, a change in her energy, a question she would not normally ask, a slight withdrawal, a sudden increase in interest. The reaction itself matters less than the fact that there is a reaction at all, because attraction creates emotional stakes, and emotional stakes create responses. Someone who truly feels nothing remains unaffected. Someone who secretly cares often finds it much harder to remain completely neutral. Another thing many men overlook is the effort she puts into being around you. Effort does not always mean chasing. Effort does not always mean constant communication. Sometimes effort looks much smaller. She chooses to join conversations where you are present. She stays longer than necessary. She finds reasons to engage. She creates opportunities for interaction without making them obvious. These small actions may seem insignificant on their own, but when they happen repeatedly, they form a pattern, and patterns reveal intentions. One action can be random, repeated actions rarely are. There is also something interesting about the way a woman behaves when she values your opinion. Even if she acts cold, she may still care deeply about how you see her. She may become more aware of her appearance around you. She may pay attention to what she says. She may remember compliments you gave months ago. She may subtly seek your approval without openly admitting it. The reason is simple. The opinions of people we care about carry more weight. Their words stay with us longer. Their reactions matter more. So, if she seems unusually aware of how you perceive her, there is often a deeper emotional reason behind it. Another hidden sign is that she occasionally lets her guard down when she forgets to protect herself. This is where many of the most genuine moments appear. A spontaneous smile, a burst of enthusiasm, a playful comment, a moment of warmth that seems completely different from her usual behavior. Then, almost immediately, she pulls back and returns to her composed exterior. Those brief moments matter because they often reveal who she is underneath the armor. They reveal emotions that escaped before she had time to hide them again. And sometimes those fleeting moments tell you more than hours of conversation ever could. One of the biggest mistakes a man can make is assuming that every cold woman is playing games. Sometimes that is true, but many times it is not. Sometimes she is simply cautious. Sometimes she is uncertain. Sometimes she is afraid of rejection. Remember this: women experience fear too. Women worry about being hurt too. Women wonder whether their feelings will be reciprocated too. The difference is that some women hide those fears behind distance. What appears to be confidence can actually be protection. What appears to be indifference can actually be hesitation. And what appears to be coldness can actually be emotional self-defense. That is why patience often reveals what pressure never can. A man who constantly chases answers usually creates more resistance. A man who remains calm and observant gives the truth room to reveal itself, because genuine attraction has a difficult time staying hidden forever. Eventually, it leaks through actions. Eventually, it appears in behavior. Eventually, it shows itself in patterns. Another sign is that she remembers important dates, events, or conversations connected to you. Maybe she remembers something you were worried about. Maybe she asks about a situation you mentioned weeks earlier. Maybe she remembers an event that most people would have forgotten. This matters because memory reflects priority. The human mind naturally stores information that carries emotional significance. When she consistently remembers details connected to your life, it often means those details mattered to her more than she would openly admit. You may also notice that she becomes defensive when others criticize you unfairly. She may not openly take your side every time. She may not create conflict, but she subtly protects your image. She challenges inaccurate assumptions. She offers a different perspective. She refuses to join negative conversations about you. People tend to protect what they value, and when someone consistently chooses fairness towards you, even in your absence, it reveals a level of respect and care that should never be ignored. There is also the way she responds to your success. A woman who secretly likes you often feels genuinely happy when good things happen to you. She celebrates your wins. She encourages your growth. She wants to see you succeed, not because she benefits from it, but because your happiness matters to her. This is one of the healthiest signs of attraction, because true interest is not just about receiving attention, it is about wanting the best for someone else. And when a woman consistently supports your progress, it often reveals admiration beneath the surface. You may even notice that she asks questions she does not necessarily need answers to. Questions become a reason to continue interacting. Questions become a reason to keep the conversation alive. Sometimes the information itself is not the point. The connection is. She wants another few minutes of your attention, another exchange, another interaction, another opportunity to engage with you. And while she may never openly admit this, her behavior quietly reveals it. As time passes, you may start noticing that her coldness is not as consistent as it first appeared. Certain situations bring out a different side of her. Certain conversations make her more expressive. Certain moments reveal warmth she rarely shows others. That inconsistency is important because genuine indifference is usually consistent. If someone truly does not care, their behavior remains largely unchanged. But when emotions are involved, behavior often fluctuates. Walls go up, walls come down, distance appears, connections returns, and beneath all of it, there is an ongoing struggle between what is felt and what is revealed. The strongest position you can take in this situation is not becoming obsessed with proving whether she likes you. It is continuing to focus on your own growth, your own purpose, and your own standards while paying attention to reality rather than assumptions, because attraction alone is not enough. Interest alone is not enough. What matters is whether actions eventually align with feelings. And when a woman truly likes you, even if she acts cold, her actions eventually begin telling a story that her words cannot completely hide. The attention remains, the curiosity remains, the concern remains, the effort remains, the connection remains. And over time, those quiet signs become impossible to ignore, because emotions can be hidden for a while, but they rarely stay hidden forever. The heart has a way of revealing itself through the smallest behaviors, the briefest moments, and the patterns that repeat again and again until the truth becomes visible to anyone patient enough to see it. And perhaps one of the most revealing signs is the way she reacts when she thinks she might lose access to you. As long as you are always available, always present, always initiating, she may feel comfortable keeping her emotions hidden. She can stay behind the walls she has built. She can continue acting as though nothing important is happening. But when your attention begins shifting elsewhere, something changes. Suddenly, she becomes more aware of your value. Suddenly, she notices your absence. Suddenly, she starts paying attention to things she previously ignored. This does not happen because she wants control. It happens because people often realize the importance of something when they feel it moving away. A woman who secretly likes you may not fight for your attention in an obvious way. She may not confess her feelings overnight, but she may become more engaged, more responsive, more present. The energy changes, and energy rarely changes without a reason. Another thing to pay attention to is how she reacts to your jokes, your stories, and your presence when she forgets herself for a moment. Many women who act cold are actually very disciplined with their emotions. They carefully manage how much they reveal. They think before they speak. They control their reactions, but nobody can maintain that control all the time. There are moments when genuine emotions break through. She laughs harder than she intended. She smiles before she remembers to stay composed. She becomes excited during a conversation and briefly forgets to maintain distance. Those moments are important because they are spontaneous. They are not calculated. They are not planned. They are emotional reactions that escaped before logic had a chance to stop them. And often those unguarded moments tell you far more than the carefully controlled ones. You may also notice that she pays attention to things you care about, even if they do not personally interest her. Maybe she asks about your work. Maybe she remembers details about your goals. Maybe she brings up subjects you mentioned in passing. This may seem small, but it is significant. People invest attention where they feel investment. When someone consistently shows interest in your world, they are often trying to understand you better. Understanding is one of the foundations of emotional connection, and emotional connection rarely grows in the absence of attraction. There is also a certain look people have when they admire someone. It is difficult to describe, but easy to recognize when you see it. Admiration is different from attraction, yet the two often exist together. A woman who likes you may quietly respect qualities about you that she never openly mentions. Your discipline, your confidence, your resilience, your ambition, your calmness under pressure. She notices these things, and even if she never says a word, her behavior often reveals that she sees them, the way she listens, the way she watches, the way she remembers, the way she values your perspective. All of these can be expressions of admiration, and admiration is often where deeper feelings begin. Another sign is that she becomes unexpectedly protective of the connection, not possessive, not controlling, protective. She does not want unnecessary misunderstandings. She does not want tension between you. She does not want the connection to disappear completely. Even when disagreements happen, she looks for ways to maintain communication. Even when distance appears, snorts, she eventually finds a way back. Because when someone matters, people naturally protect the bond they share with them. A woman who feels nothing usually allows connections to fade without resistance. But a woman who secretly cares often struggles to let the connection die, even when pride tells her to walk away, even when fear tells her to stay distant. Part of her keeps returning. You may also notice that she becomes more open over time, but never all at once. This is especially true for women who have strong emotional walls. They rarely reveal everything immediately. Instead, trust is built in layers. One conversation leads to another. One personal detail leads to a deeper one. One vulnerable moment creates space for another. Slowly, almost without realizing it, she begins showing parts of herself that most people never see. This process takes time because trust takes time, and when a woman acts cold but continues becoming more emotionally open, it often means her feelings are moving in a positive direction. One of the clearest signs, however, is consistency. Not consistency in warmth, not consistency in obvious affection, consistency in investment. No matter how cold she appears on the surface, she continues showing signs of emotional engagement. She continues noticing. She continues remembering. She continues caring. She continues returning. That consistency matters because attraction is not measured by isolated moments. It is measured by recurring patterns. Anyone can seem interested for a day. Anyone can appear distant for a day. What matters is what keeps happening over weeks and months. Patterns reveal truth. Temporary emotions create confusion, but time creates clarity. And perhaps the most important thing to understand is that a woman's coldness should never become an excuse for you to chase harder, beg for attention, or abandon snorts your self-respect. If she likes you, the signs will eventually exist. Maybe subtle, maybe quiet, maybe hidden beneath layers of caution, but they will exist. You will not need to invent them. You will not need to force them. You will not need to convince yourself they are there. They will reveal themselves through her actions because genuine interest always leaves evidence, it leaves traces, it creates patterns, it influences behavior, and the strongest thing you can do is remain grounded enough to observe those patterns without becoming consumed by them. Stay focused on your purpose. Stay focused on your growth. Stay focused on becoming the kind of man whose value does not depend on whether one person likes him or not. Ironically, that mindset often allows you to see situations more clearly, because when you're desperate for a specific outcome, every small action feels like a